So Ozempic it's a specific type of medication called a GLP-1 agonist, which stands for glucagon-like peptide. So it's a hormone that our body produces. But this was actually discovered from a venomous lizard called a Gila monster. They're those big, cool, kind of orange, black spotted lizards that are very dangerous. And so these medications came from the saliva or the venom of a Gila monster.
Are you kidding me? Hey guys, welcome to a very special episode of the No Bullshit, Just BullFit podcast. It's real intimate today. We've got Todd the Pharmacist here, and we're going to talk about Ozempic. It is taking the nation by storm. Everybody's talking about it. We're all sharing secrets. I'm like talking to all the housewives in Lifetime. We're all just like, oh, how much are you taking? What's your dosing? Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, that works. Totally working. You know, it's... Everybody seems to be on board with it that is athletic or, working on their physique. It seems like we're all talking about it or either on it.
Yeah. Honestly, I believe this will be the biggest blockbuster drug to ever hit our country.
I remember you telling me this, back 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, man, yeah.
Once we started seeing the results with weight loss, because originally these were for diabetes, so regulating blood sugar and type 2 diabetics. But now these results that are coming out with weight loss, I think it's just going to keep getting more and more popular. And people that were very much against it at first are now becoming more comfortable with it, as we're seeing more of kind of the safety results come from it and the results that people are getting. But something kind of interesting that most people don't know is, so Ozempic it's a specific type of medication called a GLP-1 agonist, which stands for glucagon-like peptide. So it's a hormone that our body produces. But this was actually discovered from a venomous lizard called a Gila monster.
Oh, no way.
So,
I'm
which
a
we actually
huge Gila
have.
monster fan.
We actually have them in Utah.
Being from Hurricane.
Yeah.
We got them in Hurricane.
They're those big, cool, kind of orange, black spotted lizards that are very dangerous.
They look like a snake almost.
They do.
With legs.
And so these medications came from the saliva or the venom of a Gila monster.
Are you kidding me?
So just a little bit. I know you enjoy the animal, reptile.
Yeah, bringing dinosaurs and animals, and I'm all ears.
That's right. But yeah, overall, these medications, so they seem like they're new, but they've actually been around since about 2005. So we've got about 20 years coming up on them. It's an entire class of medications. The first one started off called Byetta, and then as the newer ones have come out, we've just noticed a more profound effect on weight loss. And then, of course, some celebrities got a hold of the Ozempic or the semaglutide, talked about it, posted about it, social media exploded. And so now people are just very much more aware.
Oh, I remember the Gila monster parties in L.A. back in the day.
Get bit by a Gila monster.
Crazy.
If you survive.
Just trying to take their saliva, They're into some weird stuff there, but they were onto something.
Results, right? Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay, so it's say the GP1's X thing again.
It's a GLP-1 agonist. So in our body, as we eat and carbohydrates get turned into sugars and the sugars get into our blood, our body will release a hormone called GLP-1. And what that does is that hormone will actually tell our body to release insulin. And then if we remember, insulin is the hormone which tells our muscle cells and our liver cells to pull sugar out of the blood. So it's literally regulating our blood sugar. So one of the ways that these medications work is by stimulating that release of insulin. However, they're very smart medications. So you don't just take it and then you just release insulin. That can be dangerous. But what it does is it teaches your body to recognize when there's more sugar in the blood. As it recognizes that, the pancreas will then release insulin, telling the cells to pull the sugar out of the blood, therefore regulating. While at the same time, it inhibits another hormone called glucagon. So as insulin tells our body to pull sugar out of the blood, glucagon tells our body to put sugar back into the blood. So it stimulates the release of insulin, so let's pull sugar out of the blood. It inhibits the release of glucagon, telling our body, hold on, don't put more sugar back into the blood. And then a third mechanism is it actually slows down what's called gastric emptying, or the movement or the way we digest our food.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is why people sometimes are getting a little sicky poo?
Yeah, absolutely. And so by slowing down how we digest our food, it's going to make you feel more full. It's going to slow down the release of sugar once again into the blood because we're slowing down that our digestive system. And that's where we're getting these profound weight loss effects, is really because of that mechanism right there.
Okay, so it's slowing down your digestive system. That's the part like I feel weird about. Why, that feels
and
unnatural.
People, and most people that start Ozempic for the first time, I would say 90 to 95% will have some stomach discomfort. They'll have some nausea, some bloating, just a lot of that discomfort in the abdomen area because of that specific reason, because we're slowing down the way we digest our food.
Okay. But it's okay to eat as much as you normally do, or
so
what do you got to do there?
Great question.
I guess everybody's different.
Yeah, so everyone is different. So you're going to notice you're going to feel full quicker and longer. So your desire to eat is going to go way down. So there's a couple tricks when it comes to using these medications. Even though your desire to eat is going to be low, you still need to get the nutrients to function, to perform, to build, to burn fat. So the focus needs to be on protein. Still eat your meals, but keep that protein high, even if you're not feeling like eating. If you can keep your protein high, you'll notice a lot less loss of muscle when it comes to losing weight.
Yeah, you're telling me about a study that if you take your enough protein, you won't lose muscle mass.
Exactly. So we actually have literature now that shows when you're losing weight quickly, there's potential to lose so much muscle mass it can actually be dangerous. So what we found is those that don't exercise and they're not keeping their diet high in protein, they can lose between 60 to 75% muscle mass. So we're talking lean muscle tissue. So you're losing weight, but you're actually becoming fatter. You're actually becoming almost less healthy because
skinny fat.
So much of that is going to be muscle that if you ever stop the medication, you have so much less muscle on your body, your metabolism is going to be screwed up and all the weight's going to come back quicker. But now that you have less muscle, you're just going to put on more fat. So the trick is to keep your protein high. So for most individuals, you can shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So whatever kind of your goal is set for a body weight, shoot for that. Or if you don't really have a goal number-wise, shoot for about 1 gram per pound of body weight. So keep your protein high. And then we're talking resistance exercise 3 to 5 times a week. And what we found is when individuals do that, they lose about 9 to 10% of muscle mass. So we're going from 60 to 75% to 10. So that means 90% of the weight that you've lost is going to be fat. So you're actually maintaining that lean tissue. So that way, when you do come off the medication, you have so much more muscle compared to fat. Your metabolism is going to be better than ever. And you're going to be able to come off of it in a more healthy way.
I see. Okay, so we've had Ozempic for a long time. Why all of a sudden are we talking about it now again?
I think it's because celebrities got a hold of it, right? These medications aren't new, and they were designed for type 2 diabetics. But because we've noticed, hey, people are losing crazy weight, some celebrities with their doctors knew that. They put these celebrities on it, and then what do these celebrities do is they promote it. And we even have newer medications out from the Ozempic. We have a newer one called Mounjaro, and it's tirzepatide. And it works the same way, but it actually works on an additional receptor as well, which is a GIP receptor agonist. And so it has a dual mechanism, so people are even getting more profound weight loss on that one than they are the Ozempic.
Okay, how is that different from telling your body to inject glucose?
So insulin to pull the glucose out of the blood.
Yeah, how does this work differently?
So it works pretty much in the same way. So think of it, it's doing the same thing, but working in 2 different pathways to get the same result. So it has a more profound effect, if that makes sense. It works on a different receptor, but once again, slowing down that gastric emptying, stopping glucagon, which is telling your body to put sugar into the blood, stimulating insulin, which is telling your body to pull sugar out of the blood, and we're even starting to notice it's having an effect on the pathways in the brain to get rid of that hunger.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times we have an emotional aspect to eating. If we're stressed, if we're angry, if we're sad, a lot of times we want to eat to help with our feelings. We're noticing that on these medications, that emotional pull to eating is actually somewhat going away, if that makes sense.
And is that backed by anything the ingredients have in them, or?
Not that I'm necessarily aware of. So the way that it's working is more on the physical body, but for whatever reason, it's having an effect on the brain as well. And kind of those.
Okay,
those
so I'm
pathways.
also hearing people are feeling a little bit more optimistic about life and a little happier just by the injection itself, not necessarily from the results. Is this an also side effect or?
So anytime our body is learning how to regulate blood sugar, it's going to function better. We're going to feel better. And so it doesn't have a direct result on like our neurotransmitter production or like our dopamine pathway, but because we're learning how to regulate blood sugar better, our body's going to learn how to work better. And if we're working better, if we're working more efficiently, we're going to feel better as well. And you start pairing that with exercising, you start pairing that with being aware of what you're putting in your body as far as food goes, you're going to notice a huge difference.
Okay, I see.
And just like any medication, so there's going to be side effects. So something that I feel like everyone does need to be aware of. The most common side effects of these, you're going to have what we call injection site reactions. So they are injections, so you poke your belly with it, and you want to get the medicine just right underneath the skin. So we're talking a tiny little needle, and you can get some irritation around that injection site. So those injection site reactions, for that reason, you want to make sure we're alternating injection sites. So you don't want to poke the same spot once a week, every single week. And then the nausea, so stomach upset, all that kind of stuff is going to happen on these medications most likely. So just be aware of that. And then something that I've seen, so I've had patients lose 20 pounds to 150 pounds. Because the desire to eat goes away, people just are not getting the nutrition that they need. So I always recommend start supplementing with a multivitamin. Very important to get your B vitamins in. I've had a couple patients dip so low in their B vitamins that they develop what's called macrocytic anemia. So ultimately their blood cells aren't delivering the nutrients to the body like they're supposed to. And so supplementing with a multivitamin, getting your B vitamins in, keeping your protein high, and then exercising 3 to 5 times a week, those are going to be key to feeling good while on it, but planning the long game. So if you ever need to come off of it, your body's not all screwed up. You're prepped, you're primed, you're ready now to get off the medication and utilize the nutrients properly because now your body knows how to do it.
Are they adding B12?
So there are a lot of compounding pharmacies that are creating it and then adding a B12 to it as well. So that is absolutely happening across compounding pharmacies.
Okay, you can add it, no problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Dude, 150 pounds, imagine that's a whole human.
That's a human. And
that person's life is probably so different now.
Oh, yeah. Well, and not just the weight loss. I mean,
girl probably divorced her poor husband. Like just shacked up with some ripped dude now.
If that's a good thing, I guess. But but no, it's not only are people losing weight, but the body's learning how to regulate blood sugar. And I'm such a fan of getting that under control, because what people don't realize is when that's not under control and you get to the point of becoming insensitive to insulin and you develop type 2 diabetes, the long-term game is not good. If you can't get your blood sugar under control, you're looking at Alzheimer's or dementia, heart failure, kidney failure, cancer. Like there's no positive outcome by having your blood sugars out of control. And these medications are literally teaching the body to control the blood sugar. I've seen what are called A1C, so it's a marker that we can measure how well our body is measuring and regulating our blood sugar, and it looks at kind of a 3-month window. I've seen people go from 14 to 15, which is out of control, to 5.5, which is not diabetic at all. You are now regulating your blood sugar ideally. That doesn't mean you can stop the medication all of a sudden, but your body is now, you're giving your body the chance to regulate properly, which is going to allow it to function properly. And now that it's functioning properly, whatever your goals are, you can go accomplish. If that's burning fat, if that's building muscle, if it's to compete in a show, if it's just to feel better, you are now allowing your body, you're giving your body the chance to do that.
Wow. Okay. That brings up another question here.
Yeah.
How long can you take it? Can you take it indefinitely, or?
Yeah, great question.
Like some people are like, I use it for maintenance or something, from what I've heard.
So for most people that are prescribed it for diabetes, so to regulate blood sugar, there's a good chance they're going to be on it indefinitely. That doesn't mean lifelong. That just means we don't really have an end goal in mind. And part of that is because most patients that have to start this medication, they haven't, had the best diet. They're really not physically active, and so they don't have the lifestyle habits to be able to stop the medication. Now, if they can develop those and start those while on the medication, then we can start looking at that end goal. So if you're starting it for diabetes, if you're starting it for regulating your blood sugar, more than likely it's indefinitely. And as time goes on, if you're feeling better, your blood sugar is being regulated, then you can talk to your doctor about potentially pulling off of it. When I'm seeing the fitness community get involved with it, so, leaning out, regulating blood sugar, burning fat, I wouldn't run it necessarily more than like an 8 to 12 week, just to see how your body responds to it, lose a little bit of fat, I guess, if you're shooting for, and then pull off of it. Because more than likely, if you're already fit, your body's regulating blood sugar pretty well. And so there's no reason to stay on something long term if you don't need it. If your body knows how to regulate blood sugar, if you feel good, if you're able to put on some good muscle, if you're burning fat, if you're performing well in and out of the gym, my thought process is don't take unnecessary ingredients, don't take unnecessary medications. This falls into that same window.
Okay. What are some things that you should look for in case you're seeing something wrong? I heard that if you have like a lump in your throat, do not take it.
Great question.
Stop taking it.
Yes.
So apparently it is some people have gotten tumors. Is this accurate?
So they have found in mice and rats that tumors on the thyroid have developed. We haven't really seen it in people. So if there's a history of thyroid cancer or any kind of cancer whatsoever, or if you've got, thyroid issues, make sure and talk to your doctor, make sure they're aware of it. And then that's where you want to be extremely careful. If for whatever reason you start the medication and you notice any kind of lump developing whatsoever, you need to stop it right away. You need to call your doctor. You need to get that figured out and looked at first.
Okay. And then also when it first became, everybody started raving about it. Some people are like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't take that to be vain because there's diabetics that need it. Now we're in short supply. Is that real or is that fake?
So very real. As far as the short supply goes, in the pharmacy, and I think this is across the board, it's in such high demand between both groups because it's so effective for diabetes and blood sugar. It's so effective for weight loss that people are just wanting it left and right. So it just depends on,
Is there diabetics that are now not able to receive their medication because of this craze?
So there have been people with diabetes that have not been able to get their prescription on time. That is absolutely true. Just because it's been very difficult to keep in stock. So in that case,
are they ramping up production to fix this?
Yes, and they're starting to come out with, I don't know if I can call it a generic, but they're coming out with a second version of it that's going to be a little bit more affordable because a lot of insurances won't pay for it. And so the good thing is this class of medication, these GLP-1 agonists, there's like 6 or 7 drugs within this class. And they're all in very high demand right now. They are difficult to keep in stock. But if someone, needs it to regulate their blood sugar, there is the possibility a doctor could send in a second prescription for a different one in that class, or the pharmacy could call the doctor and say, hey, can't get it in stock. Can we switch it? But yes, it is a real thing. The demand is so high. There are those with type 2 diabetes that do take it for blood sugar regulation that are not able to get it when they are wanting it or need it. Wow. And it's hard to tell if someone is out of it or if they're stockpiling it like so many people are. They're just due for a refill. But yeah, the demand's been pretty crazy.
Wow. Well, yeah, it sounds like a great drug.
It's the class of medication, I think, is going to be a game changer just across the board. And then the other thing to watch out for is if you notice any really severe stomach pain, not like the nausea, not a bloating or a discomfort. If you have really severe pain, especially after you're eating, you need to stop it and you need to call your doctor. And it is a prescription medication, so I really only recommend taking it under the supervision of a doctor that writes a prescription that can monitor it, just to make sure, you're staying safe across the board. And that goes along with, pretty much any prescription medication. Make sure your doctor's aware of what you're doing. Or if you're taking it and you see a doctor, just make sure your doctor's aware if you're taking it from we'll say a spa. Like if you're getting the injections at a spa or you're buying it from a research chemical company, you need to make sure your doctor is aware because there's still interactions that can take place. These medications can be too effective if you're taking other medications that help regulate blood sugar, that you get too low of blood sugar, which is far more dangerous than having too high of blood sugar.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you, Todd the Pharmacist. That was very informative. And I guess, people should know for sure they need to eat the proper amount of protein.
Yep.
Seems crucial.
Absolutely.
That would be really bad if you had all those great gains and then all of a sudden...
goes to crap.
Or not
gains of losing fat.
Gains of losing fat. Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's that was a very special, awesome episode of the No Bullshit, Just BullFit podcast. Went over Ozempic and why it does what it does, and yeah, with Todd the Pharmacist.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always. Okay, guys, make sure to check us out on Instagram at bullfit.nutrition. Follow Todd the Pharmacist. And go grab your BullFit Hydrate at bullfit.com. That's BullFit.com. Grab yours today. We've got a great special going on right now where you get a shaker bottle, hydration sticks, and socks for $9.99.